Cahokia Mounds, the largest ancient city in North America. Cahokia, located in southern Illinois along the Mississippi River in Collinsville, was a bustling ancient settlement that thrived between 800 and 1200 CE. This massive complex, often called America's Forgotten City or the City of the Sun, once had around 40,000 residents and spanned nearly 4,000 acres. The iconic features of Cahokia are the massive earthen mounds, which were used for temples, political gatherings, and burial sites. These mounds showcase the well-organized culture of the early Mississippian people, who built the biggest city in pre-Columbian North America. Small villages started popping up along Cahokia Creek around 600 CE. Thanks to a warming climate and more rainfall in southern Illinois, people could grow lots of food, which attracted thousands to the area near the Mississippi River. Over time, the Mississippians created a unified culture and began building mounds across their territory in the 9th century. By about 1000 CE, they had established the largest civilization in North America, with some even calling it a kingdom. The Mississippian culture reached from the Great Lakes all the way to the southeast, with Cahokia being a major center for religious and political power, possibly even controlling an impressive trade network stretching from the Rocky Mountains to the Gulf of Mexico. Even though we now refer to the site as Cahokia Mounds, the original name of the city is a mystery. French explorers in the 1600s named it after the Cahokia tribe, which lived in the area at the time, but they might not have been connected to the original mound builders. The Mississippian culture probably started at Cahokia Mounds and really hit its peak there. These mound builders lived in the Mississippi Valley, Ohio, Oklahoma, and reached into the Midwest and Southeast. They worshipped the sun and other celestial beings within a rich religion, and their lives often revolved around warfare, with sacrifices being common. Ultimately, it was the impressive Cahokia Mounds that defined the Mississippians. People are starting to realize that, contrary to what some used to believe, the Mississippian mound builders had advanced farming tools, pottery skills, knowledge of astronomy, and copper working abilities. Religion, cosmology, and a well-organized pantheon of gods were central to their lives, which led to the creation of temples within the Cahokia Mound complex. The game of Chunky got its start in the region during its early days. In this exciting sport, players rolled a stone disc and tossed a spear, trying to land it as close to the stopped disc as possible. The Mississippians would gather in the Grand Plaza, surrounded by impressive mounds to play this lively game. But it wasn't just for fun. Losing players and their families could end up paying with their lives in a ritual sacrifice. Building the Cahokia Mounds. The Cahokia Mounds came in three main types: flat-top platform mounds, conical mounds, and ridgetop mounds, with the platform mounds being the most common. Most of these mounds were built between the 9th and 13th centuries, serving different purposes. Platform mounds acted as foundations for homes, temples, and stages for festivals and ceremonies. In contrast, conical and ridgetop mounds were likely used as burial sites and landmarks. They were constructed using materials like clay, topsoil, shells, and stones, with the largest mounds made primarily of clay to prevent water seepage and erosion. All the mounds were made by hand. Workers gathered materials from nearby and carried them in baskets to the construction sites, building the mounds layer by layer. Cool features of Cahokia. Monk's Mound. The standout structure in Cahokia is Monk's Mound, which was built in 14 stages from 900 to 1100 AD. This impressive mound has over 25 million cubic feet of soil, reaches 100 feet high, and covers 14 acres, making it the largest prehistoric earthen structure north of Mexico. Monk's Mound is located in the center of 4 large plazas and overlooks the Grand Plaza. On top of it sat a big wooden building, surrounded by a protective wall. While we're not totally sure what the building was for, it likely hosted political and religious gatherings or served as a resting place for the dead. This mound wasn't just a giant pile of dirt. It symbolized a vital connection between the sky realm and the earth realm, making it an important place for the Mississippians. Woodhenge. The Mississippians really needed to know when to plant, harvest, and celebrate seasonal events, so they created at least 5 wooden henges around the city to act as calendars. These circular formations made of wooden posts help them track the sun and seasons accurately. Dr. Warren Whitry made an exciting discovery in 1961 when he found a set of 28 poles that formed a circle 410 feet in diameter. Later, 4 more henges were uncovered, each with a unique arrangement of posts. One had 24, another 36, a third had 48, and a fourth featured 60. The fifth circle, which is still partially excavated, is believed to contain 72 posts, showcasing the Mississippians' strong connection to nature and their understanding of the changing seasons. Mound 72 is a standout discovery at Cahokia. Between 1967 and 1971, researchers from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee dug into this ridgetop mound, which measures around 140 feet long, 72 feet wide, and 10 feet high. Inside, they found several smaller mounds packed with over 250 skeletons. The Mississippians had covered these smaller mounds with soil and shaped the final look of the main mound. The coolest part of Mound 72 is the central burial of a man and woman, surrounded by more than 20,000 shell beads arranged in the shape of a falcon, or the bird man, a major symbol associated with the sky realm. Forensic work done by Emerson et al. In 2016 revealed that the female skeleton was beneath the shell beads, even though it was initially thought to be 2 males. The male skeleton was on top of the females. This setup could hint at themes of creation and fertility. There were also more skeletons and valuable grave goods found with the couple. In the other submounds of Mound 72, researchers came across many sacrificial victims and individuals who met violent ends. One mound contained 53 young women who had been sacrificed. Experts also figured out that Mound 72 lines up with Monk's Mound along a horizontal axis, showing a possible intentional connection. This alignment suggests that the Cahokians may have believed spirits traveled along this axis to and from the upper world or sky realm. Romaine, what happened to Cahokia Mounds? Cahokia was not meant to last forever, and its decline remains a bit of a mystery. But based on research, 3 key events might have played a part. 1. Climate change. Broxton Bird, a climatologist from Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, led a 2017 study that used ancient calcite samples from Martin Lake, Indiana. His team found that starting around 1250 CE, major climate changes kicked in with the beginning of the Little Ice Age, lasting about 500 years. This brought on a dry spell, and by 1350 CE, a serious drought hit due to dry Arctic air. 2. Flood events. Flooding often follows dry periods when heavy rain shows up during droughts. In another study, researchers Samuel Munoz and Jack Williams pulled core samples from 2 lakes in the Mississippi floodplain and discovered a lot of flooding before 600 CE. After a flood-free stretch during which Cahokia thrived, a significant flood around 1200 CE caused the population to drop, leading to complete abandonment of the area. 3. Corn production problems. The climate changes and flooding likely disrupted corn farming, leading to famine and hunger that affected the large population. This caused major upheavals in Mississippian societies. We see signs of this with the destruction of palisades, an uptick in sacrifices, and more fighting after 1250 CE. By the end of the 14th century, many people had moved south and east to areas with more stable climates. Preservation of the Cahokia Mounds today. The historic site in Illinois protects over 2,220 acres of the original 4,000 acres, which includes around 70 of the 80 remaining mounds. The federal government designated the site a historical U.S. landmark in 1964, and it was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982. The area is also home to the Museum Society, which works to promote education and research about the Cahokia Mounds. When early European settlers saw Cahokia's size and complexity, they found it hard to believe that the Mississippians built such a remarkable urban center. However, archaeology is slowly revealing the rich beliefs and way of life of these people.